Hey guys, thank you for joining again for another knife impressions. I'm going to call this an impression. This is not a review. There's a lot I want to say about this knife that I've got a lot of notes on it, and needless to say, I'm just going to cut right to the end of it. I love this knife, right? So I'm going to do a full review on there with its specs and all my thoughts and just drawn out, right? But right now, I just want to do a quick video of what are my impressions of this knife. So this right here is the Chaves 229 with the Kickstop. Kickstop is basically a Lee Williams designed thing, and basically it is separate from the blade itself, the tang of the blade. It's a little rectangular device in there that free floats, and essentially it acts as a blade stop when you open it, but then when you close it, it kicks it out to the other side, and it's got a finger flipper here. So the flipper, it disappears, right, after you flick it. So what do I think of this knife? Man, this is the size of a knife that I like. I mean, a lot of this knife speaks to me, right? Like its weight, like its thickness in the hand. I have a double XL hand. Definitely like its thickness. Love its blade. It's sharp. I mean, I use it to cut boxes. I mean, I've definitely used the knife for anything that I needed when I had it on me. So it is one of the few knives that are thick, heavy duty kind of knife feel to it, but are really super sharp, right? And it's got this compound grind that's just really incredible for a knife blade design. I'm thinking like, hey, every knife going forward, this is what I want, right? I want a heavy, thick blade that you can, maybe give it a little more abuse to it than you want to, but you had to. But it has a slicey edge to it, a slicey belly, even though it's not a belly, it's a straight edge, right? Because it's got a really beautiful hollow grind in it. And then it also has a strong tip, because the tip on the compound grind part is flat. So it's thicker up top than it would normally be if it was a compound grind the whole way. So it's all about blade geometry, and as you get into the knife world, you'll see that different blade shapes are good for different things, right? And I think this is a great EDC knife for what I use it for. I mean, the best EDC blade, in my opinion, is a Wharncliffe blade, like hands down, right? So everything else is not a great EDC knife. So, I mean, having said that, you certainly can do your EDC task with this, right? Is it the best EDC knife? No. I mean, if you're going to be opening boxes all day long, or as a work knife, this is probably not a good knife. And when I say probably, I mean definitely not, right? But you can still do everyday tasks that I do. And what am I doing? I'm opening a bubble wrap, or my lunch or dinner, like, frozen package, or whatever, cat, litter, or bags of stuff. I did mulch the other day, ripped open the bag. I mean, a lot of times, like I said, you can just rip it open with your hand. There's a lot of people out there that are doing hard to use stuff, and that's great. I'm not doing it anyway. But yeah, so for that regard, I love this knife, this blade shape. I love its thickness, love its size. That action, the Kickstop action, yo, whoa, the sounds. Oh, can you hear that? Let me shut up. Man. And I like this squareness to this thing. I like the design. The now that I'm thinking about it, what really I didn't like about this knife is these edges here, all the corners, every corner. So you count them, and even where the lock bar separates that corner, and except the clip. There was no sharp edges on the clip, but every corner on this knife besides the clip was sharp, and like too sharp to play with this knife too much without, you know, getting soreness in the hand. At one point I was like, you know, this has got the bronzed finish to it, and I was gonna take a Dremel with some green compound and just kind of like tap the edges, and I was concerned that it was gonna wipe away or, you know, take away some of the color, and I'm sure it did. I mean, I don't notice it. I mean, but again, I'm not that anal guy, right? You can definitely, I like when a knife looks a little worn in and carried. But I don't see a different color. It just looks shinier. But I tapped all these edges down wherever I felt like I was holding it and it was bothering me. I would go back in with the Dremel and just, you know, make it smooth. I want to carry the knife, right? I want to use the knife. So I'm going to go ahead and do my thing. So I'm going to get a little into what I think about this knife personally. From a design standpoint, I do love this knife. And I'm not talking about the pocket clip. I love this knife for everything but the pocket clip, and I do like the pocket clip, but I'm leaving that out from that statement that I just gave you. One of the things I love about it is this lock bar. Let me just close this knife for her. It is so level and smooth right here. It just comes to a perfect meeting point, and that gap is so tiny, and then so from this area, as a tactile person that I am, part of the reason why I like knives is, you know, I like using them, I like having them, I like being prepared, but I also like holding them and having them as something that I can hold. Right? Just the way it is, right? If it wasn't a knife, it'd be something else. But knives are cool. I love holding and playing with knives. Probably way too much, right? Because who the heck needs so many knives? But anyway, regardless of that, so aesthetically, that sound is amazing. It just appeals to me, my senses. I like this blocky, thick style. I have big hands. I love that about it. I hated the corners, but now that I've smoothed them out, I mean, the corners are great. This knife feels good. It's like a little spike, almost. So you just you just grab it, and the rest of it's business, right? It's all business. This is a great design, blade geometry on it. I don't know what else to tell you. It is, when you cut things, like when I cut this with this thing, sometimes I want to use the flat edge to it, and you get down and you like cut into something, you know, to get a precise cut. You feel the control with this, and it's just because it's so beefy, you can just, you know, crank on it while you're cutting. And I don't have a demonstration of that for you, and you know, I don't know if you've seen any scratches. I'm cutting cardboard, whatever, but I use a knife. So I'm telling you, I use a knife. I'm not going out there and thinking of things to do with it. I mean, if I'm going to need to do something with it, I do it. Trying to get the sun in my face. All right. Anyway, great knife. So what do I love about this knife? I love its weight. I love its blade geometry. I love its thickness. I love its shape. It's stocky. I don't know how to describe that to you, but it's got great blade to handle ratio. But it just, in one of my videos, I talk about how it reminds me of like a Roman sword back in the day. They were known for having shorter swords, and they were able to get in. And it just kind of gives me the point to all of that is it just gives me that feeling of purpose-built, tough. I mean, it's on bearings, so, you know, there's a discussion about how tough that would be. But if you used it hard and then it broke after you used it hard, yeah, I'd be sad for the knife. But I mean, it did its job, and you can just get another one. I think it could do hard use at least once, and you probably will never ever have to use this hard once in a random situation. So I wouldn't worry about it. But that's just me, right? I'm not giving you a value statement. I try to stay away from that. But here I'm just saying aesthetically, man, I love this knife. I bought this knife. You know, I'm retired, and I saw that there was a sale on it. You know, it's like $100-something off or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. And the Kickstop is why I wanted this knife, right? Because that is different. There's no other knife that I own that has a Kickstop. And the story behind that is this thing, it kicks out the blade, and then it also is, it's a blade stop. So it kicks it out and stops it, Kickstop. But I think there's 2 other knives that I'm aware of that this has been licensed to. The guy who owns this is, you know, like I said, Lee Williams. That's his little thing there. I don't know if I'm in camera. That's his little, you know, insignia there. And that's the only things on the blade here. Pretty clean blade otherwise. I love this grind lines on this knife. I don't know if, yeah, see, it catch the light. Look at that. Oh, I hope this is in focus, man. Wow. I don't know. I can't tell you how much, man. I really, really like this knife. So this is definitely not a review, but, you know, cheat. I'm going to give you a little peek into it. The review is going to be great. This is the kind of knife I like, right? And look at that. You got to shake it a little bit. Now, I actually tuned this thing to so it wouldn't fall shut on me, because I think at one point it was falling shut, and I forgot why I did that. I like it this way. So, but you can get it to like fall shut and not even have to, you know, flick it at all, right? If that's your thing. I'm not that anal about it. All right. Yeah, and then it has like a good feel in the hand. I love the thing about, let me get back to this pocket clip. First of all, functionally, in terms of ergonomics, this is a dream. Pocket clip works great, right? I mean, I don't feel that pocket clip really. I mean, you know, there's something there, but yeah, essentially, no, don't bother me at all, right? But functionally, like as a pocket clip to get it in and out of your pocket, this thing sucks, man. It just sucks. I don't hear anybody ever say anything bad about it. I've said it before. I mean, it's a little juvenile, but it is the designer's thing, right? And I get it. I mean, I bought the knife. I like the designer's language, right? The skull doesn't bother me at all. I'm more of a function over form guy. So as a, form, it's fine, right? Either way, it's a pocket clip. Me personally, I don't care. It's a pocket clip. It doesn't function well as a pocket clip. It's getting in your pocket. It's a struggle sometimes, and you gotta get up in here and, pull that puppy up and get it in your pocket. Let me see. Can you see it? Like, there you go. But I mean, it goes in there and out of there, but this particular pants is actually not as bad as some pants. So I might cut that out, right? Because you guys, I'm telling you that the pocket clip could be a whole lot better. If I had to criticize the knife, right? If I had to criticize a knife that I'm telling you that I absolutely love and I highly, highly, highly recommend, I would say that I think that pocket clip could work better. I didn't even talk about its looks. I think it just go in and out of my pants better. Please. Thank you. Anyway, that's it. Everybody's got an opinion. Would I buy it again? Absolutely. Keep the pocket clip just the way it is or whatever, right? Got to tell you something, right? Don't want to tell you, hey, everything is just great. This knife is just wonderful. There's nothing wrong with this knife, all right? You're going to love everything about it. You like little knives? Doesn't matter. You're going to love this knife because it's just amazing. Nothing wrong with it. This thing is a brick, right? So I'll tell you right now, if you don't like bricky, heavy knives with presence, you're gonna not like this knife at all. And one thing I do love about this knife when it's in your pocket, first of all, it carries pretty deep. I mean, if you're looking for a concealed carry, no, it's not a concealed carry, but it carries pretty deep. I love how thick this thing is. Like when you look at it, like when you look down on it. am I in the screen? Like when you look down on your screen, from your pants, like over here. Look at that. It's like, it's chunky. I don't know, that's a aesthetic thing, right? That's it may or may not impress you. And I just love this area right here. I think, and the cut in the frame lock here is so high. It's usually much lower, so it's real high. It's real thin, and as you can see, it's got a steel lock bar insert. So it's got that. It's got a internal over travel stop. I didn't mention any of this stuff to you, right? It's got a right hand tip up only carry. Right. I think that the pivot, I think, is only like a T8, or I think it might even be a T8. I don't know. Don't quote me on that one. T10 at the max, right? It's a small pivot. I was sharpening it a little bit. Got a couple of little, where I took the angle a little too wrong angly. Is that what you call that? And I, scratched the, I don't really care. I'm just saying. Check out these lines, though. I know I already did that, but check it out again. Is that not beautiful? Oh, the tip. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. All right, anyway. Love this knife. Thank you for joining me. It's only, I'm going to call this an impression. I'm going to give you a full review on this one. So, appreciate you joining me. Don't forget to subscribe, please. Like the video or put a thumbs down if you didn't like the video. Thanks again. I mean, I'm doing this, guys, for you, right? I'm not sure how many more knives I'm going to be buying going forward, because nothing's really speaking to me. I mean, there's a couple of knives that I'm interested in, but I decided, you know what? I'm not going to be like your knife channel review guy. Like, I'm not going to mention names here, but, those guys are getting, inventory sent to them. And I'm not getting it sent to me, and I'm not buying anything I'm not interested in. So I still got a lot of great knives to review, so stick around. I haven't even reviewed this knife, and I talked about it a bunch of times. All right, talk to you later. Bye.